Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
Houston, we are ready for the event.
Houston ACR, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Houston ACR. How do you hear me?
We hear you 5 by 5.
Bonne fête nationale, Thomas. Please stand by for opening remarks.
Merci beaucoup.
Hello, NASA astronauts. I'm Congressman Paul Tonko, and I thank you for sharing your time between vital scientific missions to connect with students here in New York State's capital region through our Children's Museum at Saratoga. Your work is indeed an inspiration to all, and especially to our young people, who we hope will follow their curiosity and fill their lives with science, with technology, engineering, the arts, and math. So we welcome you and we thank you.
Thank you. It is a pleasure to be with you today from the International Space Station.
Hi, I'm Avery from Toronto, New York, and this is my question. What sports can you play in space?
Oh, you can play a lot of sports. You can use the weightlessness to play a lot of sports. We just recently had the first Space Olympics. There were events like the long jump or the long floating, synchronized floating, and everything that evolved around weightlessness. But we also brought a bit of some equipment from Earth. I have my basketball because I'm a basketball fan. It's obviously more difficult to play here in space because the ball goes up, does never go down. But other than that, it's a ton of fun.
Hi, my name is Will, and I'm from New York. My question is, can you vote in an election from space? Thank you very much for taking my question.
That's a great question, Will. Thanks for asking it. Yes, we can vote from space, and I think it's very important for everyone to vote. So I hope as soon as all of you are eligible that you'll register to vote. And we have a special process where we have a secure electronic ballot that allows us to vote in elections.
Hi, my name is Piper Allen from Saratoga Springs, New York. My question for you is, what do you do for fun in space?
Oh, for fun in space, you can do the same things you do on Earth. You can read, you can watch a movie, you can also take a lot of pictures. You can simply look out the window, the view is amazing, and you can simply float and try to enjoy the environment. So everybody's doing things differently, but when we're not working on Sundays or in the evenings, we're trying to make the most of it and have some fun and create some good memories.
Hi, my name is Maeve, and I'm a college freshman. My question is, how is observing with a telescope different on the International Space Station than it is here on Earth?
So I think the question is about telescopes in space versus telescopes on Earth, and it's a great question. So telescopes on Earth, when the light from whatever celestial object you're observing comes through our atmosphere, it's altered by our atmosphere. So telescopes or observing platforms that are in space are outside the atmosphere, and so the light from the object is not impacted by going through the atmosphere. So it makes the International Space Station a great platform for observing, and we do have a variety of instruments on the outside of the space station to observe the composition of neutron stars, for example, to help in the search for dark matter. So it's a really great platform to host astrophysics instruments. We don't, unfortunately, spend a lot of time looking through telescopes ourselves, but Thomas is particularly good at night photography, so there are some neat pictures of stars that he's taken from our cupola.
Hi, my name is Ruth Ann. I'm from New York, and my question for you is, have you ever experienced any emergencies on the space station, and how did you deal with it?
That's a good question. We haven't experienced any real emergency, but we've had a couple failures. You know, systems fail once in a while. Things break down. It's like a car or an aircraft. It's very complicated equipment, so it happens and it's normal. There's nothing to be worried about. But nevertheless, you have to react. And very recently, it happened in the middle of the night when a cargo vehicle was going to dock on the Russian end of the space station. Mission Control lost some commanding abilities into the space station, so they woke us up, and we had to do all the commandings. We had to rotate the solar panels. We had to control all the systems to allow for the cargo vehicle to dock. We went to bed quite late at 3 or 4 in the morning, but it was actually kind of fun to do. We enjoyed doing this, and we have training to respond to all the failures and all the emergencies, and it usually goes well.
Hi, my name is Colin and I'm from New York. And if I were to ask an astronaut a question, my question would be, does each planet have a different kind of space rock?
Does each planet have a different kind of space rock? Well, in our solar system, we have rocky planets, which the Earth is one of those, and then we have gas giants. So the rocky planets tend to have iron at their core and be made up of similar minerals. And then the gas giants are mostly made up of hydrogen and helium.
Hello, my name is Griffin. I'm from New York State. I'm a 5th grader, and I was wondering, why is space black? Because our sun is so powerful and so bright, but space is so dark.
It's actually a great question, and the reason, I'm not an expert, but the reason I think we talked about it, the reason why space is black is because what happens on Earth is you get all sorts of molecules in the atmosphere and particles, and actually break down the light that comes from the sun, which is very white and very focused, into the different components that your eye can see, and that's why the sky is blue. But you need a lot of particles for this. We're outside of the atmosphere, so that phenomenon is not happening. You see the sun, when you look directly at it, you see a big shiny dot full of light, but that's only when you look at it. When you look at the rest of the sky, you see only black. You can see some of the stars as well, but they're very far away. Sometimes they're very faint, and also your eye is not used to the light, the level of light. It's like when you come from outside to inside a dark house, sometimes your eye needs to adapt. Well, it's the same for us. If you see some light and then you look at a darker part of the sky, then you don't see the stars are there, but you actually don't see them because your eye is not adapted yet.
Hello, my name is Carmela. I'm from New York, and my question is, how many rooms does the space station have?
How many rooms does the space station have? Well, it has about 12 rooms that we can move around in, and it can also dock up to, I think, about 6 more spaceships. So we have our Crew Dragon is docked to the front end of the space station, and there's a Soyuz crew vehicle at the other end of space station, and then a cargo vehicle right now. At one point, we had 5 different vehicles docked to the space station. But the space station is really big, including all of our external structure. It's about the size of a soccer field. Inside of it, it's more like the inside of an airplane, but it's also full of lots of equipment, as you can see, and we each have our own little space. It's kind of the size of a small closet that we get to call our own, where we hang our sleeping bag and we have our computer. So we each have a little bit of private space in our big space house.
Hi, my name is Andon. I'm from New York, and my question is, what do you guys do for entertainment in the space station?
Also for entertainment, we do a lot. We can watch movies, read books, we play sports, and also we call our families and our loved ones on Earth. We try to keep up with what's going on, and sometimes we try to have dinner as a crew. You know, just like a social life on Earth. You're trying to see your friends, spend time with them, talk and exchange, and that's how you. And sometimes ideas just come up, and that's how we had the idea of the Olympic Games. So that's how you have fun on the space station. Get together with friends, get the ideas going, and then do something.
Hi, my name is Laura. I'm from New York, and my question is, do you ever sing in space, and does it feel or sound different than what you would expect?
So, Laura, I am not a very good singer, but I found that singing does make me feel good. It makes me feel happy. And so in the area of our space station that is kind of our little space gym, when I'm working out in there, I will play my music out loud and sing along. Hopefully, usually nobody else is nearby or can hear me because they might have their own headphones in. But I do enjoy singing. It sounds the way it does on Earth. So our atmosphere is made up of all the same components that yours is right now on Earth. And so we need that to survive. And so it sounds the same way that it would to you on Earth, just as bad in space as I am on Earth.
Hi, I'm Michael Hakel, and I'm from Saratoga Springs, New York. And I'm wondering why astronauts get weaker in space.
Oh, that's a good question. Well, you see why. It's because we're floating all the time. We don't need to stand. We don't need to sit. Because when you're standing, when you're sitting, when you're climbing stairs, when you're walking around, you're using a lot of muscle that we don't have to use. I can just push with one finger on the wall and go across the entire space station. If nothing is going to stop me, it's just very, very, very easy to move around. But obviously, the seamy side is that you're losing a lot of muscle because you're not using them. You're losing a lot of bone mass because your bones are not needed in space anymore, not as much as on Earth. So to counteract that, we have to exercise.
Hi, my name is Sylvie. I live in Milton, New York, and my question is, how do astronauts exercise in space?
So as you just heard, exercise is really important for us. We have a couple of different exercise machines. We have a cycle ergometer, which is like a bicycle without a seat. We just clip our feet onto the pedals, and then the resistance changes, so we have to work harder or less hard, and that gets our heart rate going. That helps with our aerobic fitness. We also have a treadmill, and for the treadmill, we wear a harness that is then with bungee cords and clips attached to the actual rotating treadmill, and that helps load our skeleton. It's kind of like wearing a backpack and running. So that helps with our aerobic fitness as well as our bone and muscle strength. And then we have a resistive exercise device which emulates weightlifting for us so that we can still pull against something, and it makes it feel like we're lifting weights to make sure that our muscles and bones don't atrophy.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm from New York, and my question is, do you ever get so used to life on the space station that you forget what it's like on Earth?
Yes, you do sometimes. Things are different here. You see how we evolve in that environment. So you get used to it. You get used to handling things and the way everything floats. And then it can be sometimes a little bit challenging to come back on Earth. Like here, you can, in the morning, I can jump into my pants to get dressed up. I put my pants in front of me. I just jump into them both feet at a time because I can. If I'm trying to do this on Earth, I'm going to fall on my face more often than not. So you have to learn that lesson. And you have to readapt when you come back to the ground. I mean, an astronaut friend of us, Soichi, was saying the first shower is like the Matrix because it's so amazing to see the water droplets going all in the same direction. Here on the space station, they go all over the place. They float around. But on Earth, they all go in the same direction. So it takes some time to readapt. But we do because we're definitely an Earthbound species for now.
My name is Sully, and I live in New York, and I'm 6 years old, and I'm wondering if you are working on any science projects right now.
Science projects. That is why we're here on the International Space Station. This week, in fact, we've been doing a lot of maintenance. So we have to do work on the systems that keep the space station running, as well as the science equipment. We give it some upgrades. But there is a science experiment going on right now that my crewmate Aki has been working on tardigrades. So tardigrades you might have heard of. They're microscopic creatures. People call them water bears because of how they look. And they're really good at surviving in extreme environments. And so they were brought up here so that scientists can study their genes to see what adaptations they use to survive in a stressful environment like a micro-G environment. It's hard on our bodies as humans, and so maybe we can learn something from how these water bears adapt that might help humans for long-duration spaceflight.
Hi, my name is Aja, and I'm from New York, and my question is, how do you cope with isolation while on the space station?
It's a good question. So we're not entirely isolated. Thank God we have a team of crewmates and friends, and we share a lot together, and that helps a lot. But it's difficult. It's difficult to be away from your loved ones for an extended period of time. And the most difficult, at least to me, is that you can't be there for them, if they need you, and there's nothing you can do about it. You're here. So you just hope that they understand, and you hope that they still love you when you come back.
Hi, I'm Eli from Line 7 Bowl. How do you drink water in space?
How do you drink water in space? Well, I'm going to give this mic to Tomas so we can show you. So the water or the liquid that we're going to drink, we put in drink bags. So this actually is an orange flavored drink because we thought it would show up a little bit better. So we we can put water into this bag, and then we put a straw into the bag as well. So here is the straw going into the bag, and the straw has to have a little clip on it because otherwise the liquid would just start coming out anytime we pressed on this bag. So I'm going to unclip the straw, and then I'm going to see if we can get a little bit of liquid, not too much. Normally we would just drink from the straw like you do on Earth, but I wanted to show you what liquid will do. So we can actually kind of have fun with our liquids in space. So this is how we drink fluids in space, and I'm going to do it the easy way.
Hi, my name is Natalie. I'm from New York, and my question is, how does being in space change your perception of the scale of the universe?
It does change your perspective, but also simply the scale of Earth. When you're on Earth, everything seems just infinite and so vast and so big. But when you're in space and you look down, it's all very small, very tiny, very confined, and you see there's nothing around. It's like an oasis. So that's the first, I think for me, it was the first realization that, oh, wow, the planet is fragile. You have to protect it. But generally speaking, it makes you feel very, very tiny to be in space because you take a step back and you see just how immense and infinite the universe is, starting with the Earth that's so close to you, but also all the distant objects. I think you realize that your place in the universe is very, very tiny, and it makes you a little bit more humble, I think.
Hi, my name is Addison. I'm from New York, and my question is, how does the spaceship get out of Earth?
So the way we launch on a spaceship from Earth... Oh.
Continue. I was making sure you understood the question.
We got it. Thank you.
So how do we leave Earth in a spaceship? So basically our spaceship is on a rocket, and that rocket burns a whole lot of energy to get the weight of our spaceship off the planet. So in order to get into Earth orbit, which is where we are now, the spaceship needs to get going about 17,500 miles per hour, which is super fast. If you're going that fast, you get from California to New York in about 10 minutes. So we have to get going pretty fast if we want to get into Earth orbit. If you want to leave Earth orbit and go somewhere like the moon or onto Mars, you need to get going fast enough that you can leave the pull of Earth's gravity completely. And that's about 25,000 miles per hour, which is even faster. So I haven't gone that fast yet, but hopefully maybe you will do that someday soon.
Hi, my name is Lily. I'm from Troy. My question is, what is your initial reaction when you first feel weightless because of the gravity?
Oh, usually you laugh. I mean, it's exhilarating. It's so much fun. It really feels like water draining out of the kitchen sink. Like your weight is like sucked out of you, and suddenly you float, you fly. So it's such a fantastic feeling. As a matter of fact, I just saw pictures in close friends on a parabolic flight this weekend. They were all beaming and laughing because that's what it does. You have to accept to lose some control a little bit. Sometimes people are a little bit worried about losing control, but you get used to it very fast, and it's a ton of fun.
How many sunrises do you see a day?
So we're going so fast that we go around the Earth 16 times in a day. So we see 16 sunrises and usually 16 sunsets.
Hi, astronauts. How fast does the ISS go?
How fast? Well, like Megan is saying, we're going 17,500 miles per hour, which is really fast. It's 30 times faster than a plane. So if you would go from, I have to pick another example, if you go from Los Angeles to Paris, for example, that's 20 minutes instead of 11 hours on a plane. So it's really, really super fast. And when you look out the window, things go by really quickly. So you take off, you overfly LA, you go have a coffee and maybe a meal, and then the next time you look out the window, you're in Paris. So it makes it seem very, very close.
Hi, my name is Maeve Owens, and I will be starting college at the University of Delaware in the fall as a physics and astronomy major. Thank you to Congressman Paul Tonko and to everyone who participated and asked questions at today's event. Thank you also to our friends at the Clifton Park Half Moon Library for partnering with the museum for this event. On behalf of the Children's Museum at Saratoga, thank you to NASA and to the astronauts aboard the space station who answered our questions and continued to inspire us to reach for the stars.
Thank you for joining us aboard the International Space Station.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event.
Thank you to all participants. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.